Okay. Let's try this one last time if we could. How about now? We got any audio? Please, live chat, please let me know if we are putting some audio out here. I don't know what's wrong with OBS. It's being a complete pain in the butt. Okay, are we good? Ludo Arcade Games, you can hear me? Oh, thank God. God, we have to do this whole thing again. All right. Well, I'm sorry about the false start there, people. I'll start fresh, okay? We'll start over, and maybe it'll even be better this time. All right. Well, hi everybody. Shane R. Monroe here. It is Christmas Eve. The house is quiet. My poor wife, it feels like she's near death. She is in the bedroom trying to sleep and relax. She's got some terrible head and chest cold. My son is out working. And it's so great. I love that there's no teenagers in the house. Everything's quiet, with the exception of the occasional Christmas pooch that's going to probably be barking in the background if Amazon happens to drive by. So sorry about that in advance. But anybody who's been around long enough to know about the Shane R. Monroe live videos know that it's never a good video unless there's dogs barking. So anyway, one of my rituals that I do every single year, and I thought I'd bring you guys along for the ride. I demonetize this completely, right? So you're not going to get interrupted with commercials or whatever the hell it is else that YouTube might do. So we could do this, what would Jesus do? Jesus would not monetize his videos, right? But listen, Jesus doesn't have the overhead that I have either. So, but this is demonetized, so hopefully there'll be no interruptions outside of not being able to hear me because I didn't set the stream up right. But anyway, so a common ritual, and this, by the way, is not limited to me. Talk to any big Commodore 64 enthusiast, and they will tell you that every single year they watch a Christmas special. And it's not Charlie Brown Christmas. It's not, it's not Rudolph. It is actually the Commodore 64 Christmas demo. And I thought it might be fun to talk a little bit about where this came from, how it came to be, and why it became so important to me and millions of other Commodore 64 lovers around the world. So back in the old days, back when I was young and handsome, well, I was never handsome, but I was at least young, there would be department stores had these huge spreads for things like the Commodore 64 or the Atari 800. I mean, now you can go to Walmart or Target and see a Nintendo Switch setup, but for the most part, it's not really the same. There was a sort of synergy around these displays and these demos. And there was always a Commodore 64 standing by, right? There was always one on display. There was one Commodore 64 estimated in every 3 homes in the United States back in the day. I don't have any data to back that up. It's just something that I read. And you hear the dog whining? It's perfect. This is Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. But there was always a Commodore 64 there. And now I spent my formidable years, especially with the Commodore 64, in Wenatchee, Washington. For those of you who are longtime listeners of my other podcasts, you probably already know this. In the East Wenatchee Mall was a Sears, and Sears had the greatest Commodore 64 setup, a full drive, 1702 monitor. It was simply amazing, right? The Commodore 64 was front and center, was the greatest selling computer of all time, blah, blah, blah. And at that point in time, I didn't have a disk drive on my Commodore 64. I had a tape drive. And so, anytime I wanted to do anything disk related, I could go over to Sears, and the department store guys loved me because they knew nothing about computers, and I sold so many Commodore 64s for them. It was disgusting. So here I was, this 15-year-old kid sitting in the Commodore 64 kiosk section of Sears, selling computers, flipping them like Xers in a kung fu movie. So they loved having me around. So, hey, you're going to be here next weekend? Because that'd be great. Yeah, well, maybe. So anyway, so that's where I sort of got plugged into the vendor side of the Commodore 64. So every single year around the holidays, I'm sure there's other events too, but this is just when I happen to see them. Some of the Commodore vendors, the actual people that traveled around, the district managers of Commodore, things like that, would come around and they would bring a new box of discs with them for the store. And typically these were, a diagnostics disc or things to help them. Sometimes they would have like sales pitch type stuff, almost like, early versions of PowerPoint, if you will. But around the holidays, they did something special. And I always thought that there was only one of these. I thought there was one single Christmas special that existed. Oh, sorry, my screensaver kicked in. I always thought there was just one, and it turns out that there's many of these, but the only one I ever saw was, I believe, 1984's. I'd have to look. I don't remember if it's got the date in here or not, but this was the one that I saw. This is the one that lives on in the hearts of all Commodore users over time. And so I thought we would sit here and look at it together, do something kind of fun for the holidays, a little something different that didn't require any post-production. All right, so, and again, this is on the Steam Deck I'm playing this on. Now, you could play this on your PC. I think it's actually included in the Amiga Forever package. If it's not, it's really easy to acquire, providing you get the right one. Let's see. So, anyway, these vendors would drop these discs off, and essentially they would load these things in, and you saw before there was a menu that says you could run it continuously. Now, I can only imagine these poor bastards that had to do 8-hour shifts at Sears and had to watch this demo running over and over and over again. Yeah, VIC-20 was really popular too. I was looking at the chat here. Yeah, the VIC-20 was really, really super popular. It was sort of made the first computer that was affordable, right? That was the first affordable computer pretty much in the world, right? So anyhow, all right, so this is the demo. And I'm going to go ahead and start it, and let me know if the sound is over blaring and I'm screaming over it or whatever. Now, Commodore themselves, Commodore Computing Products, or whatever their name was back at the time, they were never really known for, their programming prowess. But I always thought that this particular thing was pretty cool. The whole snow falling, the snow building up on the ground, the Commodore logo appears, and it actually starts getting snow buildup on it. Now, this was really, I'll tell you, this was really sort of out of character. Commodore usually didn't, I mean, they probably contracted this out, but Commodore themselves weren't normally known for amazing stuff. Now, one thing you might notice here, now, of course, there's, let me know again if the audio quality is not meshing up here. But one thing you'll notice here is there's actually no, like, real graphics. These are all using what they called PETSCI graphics, which are alternative characters, right? So you have a lowercase a, an uppercase a, and then there's a Commodore A, and Commodore A might put a cross on the screen. So they actually, looks like they pulled this all off with literally doing Commodore graphics, which in itself is pretty impressive. Now, the little sparkling stars that you're seeing on here, these are sprites, of course. But I always thought that the music was well created. I thought the graphics were really well done, especially since they stuck primarily with these PETSCI graphics here. Now, this always impressed me. This blew my mind to see this burning candle. The flame, I know you guys are looking at this and rolling your eyes, those of you who are still here, but it's like that was the shit, man. I mean, you never saw anything, fluidly animated in the home computer range, Everything was, there was Impossible Mission and some other things that really look good. But especially for Commodore pulling this together and doing it mostly with the built-in graphics set with a couple of sprite overlays. So I always thought this was really, really neat. Here's another one where, of course, Santa and Rudolph there are sprites, but everything else is created with onboard characters. And I thought that was really neat and unique. I always loved the music, and I thought it was great. And it was nice of Commodore to give give these poor reps at Sears and Kmart and what were the other, JCPenney's, right? All these places that are gone now. But they would. It was nice of them to bring them something to entertain and to show off what the system could do. And again, I say this with peace and love. Peace and love. This demo gets played millions of times a year by loving, devoted Commodore people. Most of them, in some cases, anyway, they will actually drag their physical hardware out and make sure that they're experiencing it exactly the way that it did. This is a once a year event for them, and I think that's nice. I don't see that that's really around much anymore. I always liked this one. This was cool. And again, it looks like maybe the snowman's a sprite, and the two kids dancing, of course, are sprites too. But again, everything else is using built-in stuff. Very neat. I don't know. I find this refreshingly simple and nostalgic, and yeah, and apparently millions of other people do too. Now, I wasn't going to drag my Commodore 64 out to do this, but I could. I could have done that. But then here's the sales pitch piece, right? Now, high-res graphics. It's interesting that they quite put it that way, right? CPM, that's really funny. Like anybody would even know or think about CPM. Perfect holiday gift, Commodore. Commodore's keeping up with you. So there you go. And again, I watch this every year. It's sort of it's a piece of history. It's a piece of every single year we get together and do this. And I know my friends who are probably watching right now, they've probably already watched it this year. Again, like I said, it's sort of a traditional thing. Anyhow, I won't make this a long video. I just thought it'd be kind of fun to reach out to the fans. You guys are the best, by the way. I mean, we crossed 10,000 subscribers this year. 2003 was really good for the channel, and it's all because of you guys. So I thought maybe this would be a fun way for us to just kind of celebrate a little bit together and have a little Christmas cheer from Commodore. Season's greetings. See, even back then they couldn't say Merry Christmas, right? Everyone says Christmas is being stolen. There's a war on Christmas. Nah, it's always been there. It's just, a little more visible these days. All right, then. Well, listen, maybe one more thing before we go. If I recall right, this one won't let you break out of it. There was one of the Christmas demos, you could actually stop the BASIC and see it. But this one, I don't believe that you can. That's too bad. I was going to break in and we could look at the code together. That'd be fun. That'd be a modern vintage gamer thing to do, right? Well, listen, thanks again, everybody, for showing up. And for those few that did, I understand it's the holidays. You guys are all busy. But thanks for stopping in. I hope everybody sort of enjoyed this historical look. And we'll see you all next year. Now, listen, there's no way I can stop making videos for like a whole week. So this coming week, I've got the entire week off, so there'll be tons more videos. I'll get back to the regular stuff. I got some interesting hardware to show you. I've got a couple of interesting games to show you. I've got some Steam Deck stuff that's going to be remastered for 2024. Plenty of stuff coming. So thanks again, everybody. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Your comments are great. Subscribers, we love you. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Have a great Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever it is you celebrate. I hope you do it with family and friends, and stay safe and sound.